the Bible, for example, farmers were told, when you plow your field, don't plow all the corners and all the edges, leave a little bit for poor people to come and gather. So from the very beginning, there's a sense that we all have a responsibility for each other.
All of us are given gifts from God. And so then all of us have gifts to share with one another.
Sharing with those who are in need is something that we need to do because we're part of each other. We're associated with each other. No one is outside the human circle.
But I think there is also something else, which is just as God is present with us, we can also be present for other people.
In the Gospels and in Jesus' experience, love is everything.
Jesus grabs a towel and a bowl and starts to wash everybody's feet. And people are startled by this. They are confused. Jesus, we should be washing your feet. But he says, I came here to serve you. And so charity means putting oneself, one's desires aside to serve a fellow brother or sister in whatever need they have.
We do give something to someone who needs it. That is very, very worthwhile and very, has a long, long tradition in the Christian church and is practiced today.
And the idea is that charity is purifying the blessings that you have, because God says in the Quran, He has given some of you more than others to see what you will do with what He has given you, whether it's more or less. How are you going to behave? And when we give some of what God has given us to those who are more in need, then we're purifying all that God has given us by getting rid of the portion that really doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the poor.
So the word charity in English comes from a Latin word, caritas. It means I regard you as precious, I regard you as dear.
That charity has sometimes been pushed aside as kind of giving things to people instead of changing the world.
Sometimes when people hear the word charity, they immediately think, oh, I don't have any money to give. But often what people in need more than money is time, expertise, friendship, relationship.
You know, certainly the ways in which we are called to sit with people and talk with people and listen and spend time with people, that is certainly a form of charity as well.
Our gifts are not only monetary gifts. Our gifts of charity are also friendship and help, prayer, support, goodwill, and our time and our talent. And so those who can't give money can give of their time or their talent.
Whatever it is that we can give, there's always something we can give. And so charity compels us to move forward.
In our tradition, there are 3 ways of giving charity. You can give charity to the body by giving cloth, food, water, dig wells for poor people to get water. That is charity to the body. There is charity to the mind by giving education, building schools, building universities. That's charity to the mind of a person. But there's another charity which is given to the soul, to the spirit, to the spiritual being living in this body. That is to give spiritual education.
The Buddha never said, feed the hungry, help the poor. Because if I give you food, then I deny food from somebody else. And that is, whatever you do in your life has consequences to the rest of the world.
There is no God for an atheist Jew or a secular Jew, but they have to do tikkun olam. They have to make the world a better place. They have to help the poor. They have to work against injustice. It's as it were a secular mitzvah. There's no God, but there is mitzvah. There's required behavior, and that behavior is to do social justice.
It's a basic principle in Judaism to visit the sick, to comfort the mourners, to take care of the widow and the orphans. I mean, this is standard from the times of the Torah, which now is 3,000 years ago, to the present.
And also, being able to educate people is a form of charity, because moral misery is due to lack of moral education. People fall into social misery, economic misery, sometimes because they lack that moral education or that moral component in order for them to deal with that. Because there are some people that are in economic disarray, but have a strong faith, that have a strong ability to understand and accept and submit themselves to, in that incarnation, the experiences that God has given to them.
What can I contribute to change the circumstances where they're hungry? Maybe I'm contributing to their hunger. There needs to be some structural changes in the economic system, in the political system, in our overcoming biases, in our belief system.
Encyclicals that Benedict XVI wrote, he said that charity is something you give because it belongs to you. It's something that you give to others because it belongs to you. That's charity. And he says that justice is something you give to others because it belongs to them.
Of course, justice is a concept that takes us beyond that, where we work to change systems. So my charity today for the person who lives on the street, and the ways in which we dream about God's justice being made real, might not be needed in a year because we've changed a system where there may not be as many people on the street, where justice has come and created a new way to care for people.
Charity can actually keep us from dealing with deeper issues. And so eventually, the more we care about people in need, the more we also have to care about systemic justice.
But I believe that everyone who is a receiver also has something to give.
My experience as a pastor is that I often receive as much as I'm giving in that situation.
We think that charity is great for those who receive it, of course, but it's even better for those who do it, because it really teaches to detach yourselves from our own tiny little world. And I think a lot of what our evolutionary process is about is for us to realize that we are not the brightest center of the universe.
Science supports this idea, so we can now all go use the charity as a guidance for our inner growth and inner strength.
And so we are fundamentally good beings. I think sometimes we get distracted by cultural pressures and familial pressures that tend to distract us from our identity in God, which lead us sometimes to do the wrong things that are not good. But fundamentally, I believe we are good.
The Buddha said that we are all born with Buddha nature, so that we are all good when we are born, but that our selfish ways makes us evil. And we are having many problems in this world, not because we are born evil, but because we don't realize, understand that we are good.
You really need to be able to give your time, to give, not give money, give your ears to listen, give even your opinion, your wisdom to someone that is in need. So, but when we do this, sometimes we think that we are help the other, but truly we are help ourselves.
So charity also means climbing what the Quran calls the steep path, being aware of the essential structural changes I need to make, and maybe the structural change is my own bias and prejudice I have within myself.
It will change the way you think, it will change your friendship, it will change your relationships. So it goes way beyond. It is something simple yet so complex.
Because being able to be benevolent and understanding for your coworker, for your sibling or mother, father, can make our lives a more peaceful one.
Peace is the best path because it is the path laid out by God. It is not the easiest path, but it is the best path.
That state of perfect synchronicity with God is what we call salvation. And it doesn't depend on anything external, on any particular name, on any religion, on any sect, any scientific understanding, on any major intelligence. It's this inner state of synchronicity, perfect synchronicity with God.
The word for us so today is solidarity. Solidarity is charity in action, and solidarity is the new name of charity, which means overcoming indifference, being with others, and producing processes of systemic change and social transformation that goes beyond something that is always going to be needed, charity.
If we have to define charity, we would say that charity is love in action.
So we understand that charity should include the body, should include the emotional side, the intellectual side, but should especially be concerned with the spiritual side. And spiritual charity means to help a person to awaken the lost relationship with God.
And I think that really giving charity is a recognition of God's existence and His testing us in what He has given us, so that we should not be so attached to it, but we should look at the greater need out there and be God's instruments in creating equity and justice, economic justice for those in need.
Where love and charity are, God is there also.
There is a challenge for us. We need to be there with those who are suffering, and we need to be that presence and ensure them that God is with them.
So all kindnesses you do, the acts of kindness, also are a form of speaking to Allah, because you're doing acts of charity.
I have to do tzedakah because it's the right thing to do, regardless of whether or not I feel like it, regardless of whether or not I like the person, regardless of whether or not that homeless person smells a lot. I have to help them.
So charity in Jewish tradition is simply something one does as a righteous act.
It's not an option. It's not optional behavior. You have to do it. mitzvah, it's commandment, it's required behavior.
Charity is always necessary, but it's not enough. We need to do something else.